Mason hasn't fought the top of the division yet. That it may not be concerning for a guy like Albert Bell, but Albert Bell has faced some decent competition as well, and I think they have. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So going down this weekend, Abdullah Mason is making his first title defense against Albert Bell. And honestly, man, this is a tough fight to predict, y'all. I know Albert Bell wasn't originally supposed to fight Andy Cruz, who just lost to Raymond for an IBF title eliminator. And Abdullah Mason was supposed to fight Joe Cordina, which, I was kind of bummed out that fight pulled out. All because, Cordina's, had visa issues. If that, other than that, the fight wouldn't have happened. I'm kind of bummed out. But Albert Bell is a good fighter. Is he one of the best fighters in the division? Nah. But he's like a B-plus fighter. And, knowing that Abdullah Mason is still very young into his career, I could definitely see this being a very big struggle for him throughout this fight. But now we're going to go over some strengths, some weaknesses, some of the things that they do very well. And I'm gonna give you guys my prediction, let you guys know who I got winning this fight. Without any further ado, let's get into the video. Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button. Let's get into the video. Abdullah Mason. So Abdullah Mason, for what we've seen from Abdullah Mason, that he has such fast hands and has good combinations and does know how to use that jab very well. He knows how to parry. He knows the ways to move around. But one thing I could say that Abdullah Mason needs to work on throughout this fight is that he one thing out of everything that he has, the worst thing I say from Abdullah Mason is his defense. He has good defense, but sometimes, not like footwork and moving, like just blocking defense. Like, that is something that he really needs to work on throughout this fight. I get it, Albert Bell doesn't have, isn't the biggest power puncher or even the biggest puncher or he hits hard, but he definitely gives from what I've seen from Albert Bell, is that he definitely gives fighters struggles. One thing about him is that he always has to make a fighter reset before even throwing another punch. It's kind of like he doesn't, necessarily, he's not going to knock you out, but, he will hit you a lot. And, I want to say Abdullah Mason is very, very hittable, but when he's not moving, when he's not using his footwork or head movement and just blocking, he can definitely get hit clean. Like, if we look back at his last fight where he won the belt against Sam Noakes, which was, a spectacular fight. There were times throughout the fight where he had lack of defense and he got hit pretty clean due to the lack of defense. And Abdullah Mason and Albert Bell, one thing I could say about this is that both fighters have very good jabs. Abdullah Mason's jab is very good, but like I said, he could definitely work on some defense. Albert Bell, I feel like Albert Bell is going to have it, and knowing that how young Abdullah Mason is, I think this could definitely work out for Albert Bell. Because I know Albert Bell was originally supposed to fight Andy Cruz, and his fight with Andy Cruz got announced like June 13th, June 14th. And then I think the fight was announced June 26th when he was going to fight Abdullah Mason. So, he had some time to train. He may not have, the biggest time to train, but, he's pretty active, man. He fights pretty actively. He's, always, his last 4 opponents were very good opponents, especially his last opponent against Keith Hunter. He looked pretty good in that fight with the head movement, with the jab, with the counters. But one thing I could say that goes wrong with Albert Bell is that he sometimes, like I said, he has limited power, which means he doesn't consistently knock you out. He's the more experienced fighter than Abdullah Mason, but he kind of has sometimes a low output where he doesn't consistently knock you out. Well, he'll get a knockout here and there, once every blue moon, whatever. But he just has low outputs, and that sometimes definitely leads him to close fights. But against a guy like Abdullah Mason, who's still young, still trying to figure out, still getting better and better, I think it's the right time where he definitely could fight him. I think Abdullah Mason's only 20, 21 years old. One of the youngest world champion I think out there today. And the fact is that, I don't know a lot of you guys don't, but Albert Bell is a pretty tall guy. He's 6 feet tall and has a very good jab. This could definitely be a struggle, especially, how, Abdullah Mason is still young in his career. But the biggest concern I definitely say I have for Albert Bell is that Albert Bell was a training camp enough, knowing that he's taking this fight on short notice. That's just a concern I have. Another concern I have is that, Abdullah Mason, his power, he has a lot of power. This man only, out of his 20 wins, he only had like 3 decisions. But, I say another a concern I definitely have here for Abdullah Mason as well. Abdullah Mason hasn't fought at the top of the division yet. That, it may not be concerning for a guy like Albert Bell, but Albert Bell has faced some decent competition as well. And I think they have faced, both decent amount of competition. I think it's going to be a pretty good fight. I could definitely see throughout this fight, Albert Bell is controlling the distance, especially he's the long range fighter, giving him trouble in those early rounds, but those later rounds when Abdullah Mason will adjust. How will Albert Bell do? And I think this is his first time going 12 rounds. Abdullah Mason has, a little bit of experience, going 12 rounds with going 12 hard rounds with Sam Noakes. This is definitely a pretty tough fight. Maybe Abdullah Mason could definitely knock him out. I don't know, because I haven't really seen, Albert Bell fight somebody with good power, with good amount of power like Abdullah Mason. Maybe when he fought Martin Diaz, probably that was it. Keith, I forgot who else he fought as Romero guy that he fought. He had a good amount of power too. He's facing some guys with good amount of power. He has good fight IQ. He may not, like I said, he may not have the biggest power, but he has good fight IQ though. That's what helps him lead to his fights. He definitely gets people struggle. I can definitely see this being a struggle for Abdullah Mason. But who do I got winning this fight, y'all? I'm going to side with Abdullah Mason, y'all. I think Abdullah Mason's power can be definitely a little too much. Like I said, those early rounds, I can definitely see Albert Bell controlling him throughout this fight. But if Albert Bell cannot do that, I could definitely see this be an easy night. It could be a pretty close fight, because Albert Bell has these pretty close fights. But how will he do going 12 rounds with Abdullah Mason, who's trying to knock you out, or just go the full 12 hard rounds? But let me know what you guys think. But let me know who you guys got winning this fight between Abdullah Mason and Albert Bell. And that's going to be the end of the video, y'all. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Turn on notification when you guys want to see when I upload. Comment down below who do you guys got winning this fight, Albert Bell or Abdullah Mason by knockout or decision. And thank y'all for 119 subscribers. See y'all. I'll see y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace.